And just to give context too, it's like I won't say everyone, but a lot of people that were my age, people that were around me that I knew that had issues in their relationship, it all came back to trust, but it wasn't vulnerability, it was infidelity.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go. Hey everyone, this is Snooks
And Lovey.
Have you ever felt that you need additional assistance enhancing your intimacy?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Okay, I'm not talking about in the bedroom. I'm talking about making the connection with your partner.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? There's an app for that.
Yeah, and it's called Intimately Us.
I love that app because you know what? You get to play so many different games.
Yeah, you're interrupting. They have Battle Strip.
And Sexy Twister, which is one of my favorites.
And they also have conversation starters and...
I love the how-to. There's a how-to where you can actually learn techniques and things that you want to try with each other along with the sexploration list.
So I was going to say, they also have great date ideas. So if this sounds good to you, download the app at r.intimately.us/MIC.
That's r.intimately.us/MIC.
The link will be in the show notes. Now let's get ready for the podcast.
Welcome to episode 190 of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey.
I'm Snooks.
And we want to take a moment to welcome each and every one of you back. Did you catch what I just said?
I was like, woo, 190? Is that what you're talking about?
190.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's 190 plus weeks that we have actually recorded a podcast straight, continuously, without a break. Mm-hmm. There's been a couple of times where it's probably balanced out now, but we've had to actually run some of the archives because we're on vacation or sickness, illness, like when Dad passed away, all these different things. So not a lot of that, but yeah, so we're at least 190 and some change.
Yeah, I was about to say, or over, but.
That's pretty cool. Hey, so we want to thank you. You have so many choices to actually come back, and we thank you for especially those of you that have rocked with us for at least 190 weeks straight. This is going all the way back to August of 2018. Mm-hmm. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun, and I expect it's going to continue to be a lot more fun. As long as we're enjoying ourselves and you're getting value, you will hear our voices.
It's been fun. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes it wasn't fun. Sometimes it was just plain work. But
just like a relationship. Just like your marriage, right? Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's just work.
It's just work. Sometimes one of us has an attitude. Sometimes one of us acts, I don't know. How do you act?
Oh, why's it got to be me?
Because you have an attitude and you act funny.
Oh, I'm not. Look, y'all go back and listen to all of them. There's sometimes where she had an attitude too. So it goes back and forth. It does. But look, here's the thing. So what we're going to do, and we encourage all of you to do the exact same thing. We're going to go to this cool website called marriedintocrazy.com, and we're going to book a discovery call with ourselves because we might need some coaching. Some counseling. No, but we encourage each and every one of you to go over to marriedintocrazy.com, go to our coaching page, and go ahead and book a discovery call. It's an opportunity to sit down, chat with us for anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, just to see if we're a good fit when it comes to having a coach to help you get from wherever you are right now to that next level. And then you can also, while you're on the website, go over to the store. If you believe that your relationship is compassionate, real, accountable, zealous, and yielding, well, your gear should be as crazy as your marriage.
I want to do the whole put it over your eyes, but then that means my hands would be over your eyes.
She's poking me in my eye. I got video. Look, assault. She just assaulted me on video. I'm putting it on YouTube.
So extra, whatever. Because I'm trying to look at the screen and talk at the same time.
And as she's doing that, she don't realize
far away.
She's over here about to poke me in my eye.
Cut it out, dramatic. Okay.
Assault. Look, hey, but we wanted to welcome each and every one of you back. Look, there's been some interesting things going on in our house. We always talk about the grand and everybody else, but we've got an additional, our grandson's with us for an extended period of time, and we're making some adjustments.
And his aunties thought it would be super cute to get the nieces also. So this weekend we had all three of the grandkids, and they almost didn't make it out. I'm just gonna say that part.
Why is it that when we inherit kids,
The nieces, our daughters, think that we're gonna do the work.
well,
I didn't ask for them to come.
I know, right? Okay, but on top
Love
of
them to
that,
death, but
why are they always sick?
oh my goodness. So yeah, now Isaiah, he's kind of sick. He's coughing and stuff. I'm hoping that it's just allergy kind of stuff or whatever. But the oldest one, her mom thought it was allergies. The next day she had 101.3 temperature. I was like, oh, that's just great. And she's coughing all in my face. I was like, baby, cover your mouth. Then we gave her medicine. She's knocked out on the couch. So she kind of sweated out her stuff.
Well, I was going to say this. We usually call them, the grands. We got these little nicknames. I used to call the girls the Gator girls because alligator. Look, from now on, they're just ground zero.
That's ground zero.
They're ground
That's
zero
like
because they're the carriers of whatever disease comes into this house. Whatever ailment intrudes this home, it always starts with the grands. It's one of them at all times. Last time I got sick, when I got the flu, that was Els. She's the one that got me sick.
Yep, she did get you sick. Now
And so,
Olena got Isaiah sick, and Isaiah's coughing in my face too. And I'm texting the group today. I'm like, I think I'm taking NyQuil tonight because I feel like I'm kind of sick.
right, the ground zero grands. See, there's an element of trust that we're supposed to have with their parents. I don't got it no more. I don't trust them. I don't trust them no more. I don't trust none of them. They be sending these kids over here like, ooh, they look sick. Let's send them to their grandparents.
Go to your grandma's house. Go see
Right?
Papa.
I said ground zero grands. That's what they are right now. The
GZG.
the GZs, the ground zeros.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about trust, that is something that is extremely important, though. Not just between our relationship with our kids and the grands, but it's extremely important for us to have trust as well between the two of us, and for all of you out there to have trust. Now, it seems like it's a foregone conclusion, right?
Conclusion.
Like, of course, we're going to trust each other, and of course, we need trust in a relationship. But it's not always the case. As you look for ways that's going to help your relationship go the distance from initially meeting each other to going all the way out, trust is going to give you both the safety and the security to be vulnerable. And that's the crux of it, right? You need trust in order to be vulnerable. And it's that vulnerability that's going to allow you to get closer to each other.
So one thing that I find, I feel like anyway, whenever you talk about trust, it's never about vulnerability. It's more about infidelity. When people talk about, oh, do you think you can trust him? The first thing that they talk about or that they go to him or her, I'll say, is whether they're going to be faithful in the relationship. But I've never heard anyone say, I don't know that I can trust him to be vulnerable or her or something along those lines.
Not so much I don't trust him to be vulnerable, but I feel as if I've heard people talk about when they refer to trust, it's like, do I trust them enough for me to be vulnerable so something's not thrown back in my face? Not necessarily infidelity, but just like if I say that, do I trust them enough to that if I say something or if I bring this up or if I share this, that they're not going to think I'm stupid, or they're not going to say, oh, well, you said this, that, and the other day, and it comes back in. It's like it's weaponized against them.
And that's true. I'm just saying from what my vantage point, my viewpoint is, 9 out of 10, it deals when we're talking trust. It's always, I won't say always, like I said, 9 out of 10. It's more about, the infidelity piece. Or can you trust them to be where they say they were going to be or whatever? Just like people in the phones, we've talked about this a long time ago, but I never go through your phone. You never go through my phone. I know your password. Sometimes, if I can remember it, you know mine. But when,
Sometimes, if I can remember it.
but like, oh yeah, because I was checking his phone and blah blah. Like, why are you doing that? You feel the need to check and investigate and that kind of thing because you're trying to see if you could,
If you can trust them.
if you could trust them.
Well, obviously, you don't trust them. I think it's
Well, that's kind
pretty
of how I
straightforward.
feel.
You don't trust them if you're going through the
If
phone.
you're going through the phone, because
Oh,
I
you don't
need to
trust
know.
her if you're
I
going
gotta
through her
make
phone.
sure.
Or you don't trust her if you feel like you got to put your phone up. I've
Wait a minute. You don't trust her if you got to feel like you got to put your phone up. You don't trust her to not look through it.
right.
That means you shady. What you talking about?
Don't swipe. Don't swipe.
Oh,
Don't
wow.
swipe, homie.
Okay. Don't go to the camera.
Don't go. Don't go to my pictures. But it's one of those things that trust is like, okay. So in Gottman Institute, there's a thing called the Sound Relationship House. And if you imagine this house that is being built, you've got two walls that are weight supporting walls, weight supporting beams, if you will, within the relationship. Trust is one of them. Commitment is the other. And they're weight bearing walls because trust and commitment bear the weight of being able to do all these other things that are in the Sound Relationship House. But you've got to be able to make sure that these walls are protecting you from the exterior. You have to have that trust. You have to have commitment. But what we're talking about tonight is specifically trust. And how do you build that if you don't have it? What if you've had a history? Because, your past dictates how much trust you have in your current relationship. Because if you've been burned in the past, that creates barriers for you to be able to have that trust. Now, you would hope that somebody has gone beyond that and they trust you enough to say, I do. But just because you say I do doesn't mean I trust.
So you said you would hope that they go beyond that, or that they would trust you enough to say I do? Is that what you're saying?
Or either way.
Oh, I'm just trying to figure out.
Well, right. Like what I say when a couple, like you and I, if I would hope that I trust you enough to say I do. But I think that once you say I do, people think that, oh, you said I do, everything's better. No, it's you would hope.
So my question at that point would be then, if you don't necessarily feel like you've healed from your past, then why are we doing something else?
What do you mean there's something else?
Like getting married. Why are you?
Because you're a good one. You one of them fine ones. Are smart. You getting your degree. You got a good job. I can't let you get away. Okay. So let me catch you now, and I'm gonna work on me a little bit later.
That's a recipe for a disaster, though. I feel like I feel like that. I don't know. It's about personal development as far as that goes.
There's some spiritual development that goes along with that as well.
That's true. That's very true. But people don't. I don't feel like you look at it like it's a spiritual type of development. I don't know. I don't know how you would build that up from residual distrust from a previous relationship. I feel like okay, if I show you, I'm showing you, I'm thinking I'm showing you that you can trust me just by some of the things that I do. But that doesn't mean that my actions resonate with you to be trust. Well, does that make sense?
It does, but I think it comes back to there needs to be a conversation that takes place. Like, what does it mean to trust each other?
Oh, yeah. You definitely have to be on the same page about what trust looks like.
And I think so often, unfortunately, what's happening is I have my version of trust, or what commitment, those two weight-bearing walls, trust and commitment. Well, if I have a specific definition of what it means to trust and what it means to commit, but you have a completely different definition of what it means to trust and commit, and those two things don't jive, that's a problem. Because in my world, my universe, I'm trustworthy and I'm trusting you and I'm committed, but what if the things that I think I am don't look the same in your world, in your universe? Then there's a problem. Then you're telling everybody, well, yeah, I can't trust them, this, that, and the other because da, da, da. And I'm thinking, I'm telling everybody, well, no, I'm as trustworthy as they come, or I trust her, but it's my version of trust and it's your version of trust. But if we don't come together and have a conversation about what do we believe trust is,
Well, yeah, because what actions show. Okay, so I'm trying to say it or trying to think of something um, to not rebuke, rebuttal,
rebuttal, rebuke.
rebuke what you're saying. No, not really.
Oh, I'm saying
But
now.
no, 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 no. Because I'm just trying to put it in a different in terms where I can explain it. So using us as an example, I never ever felt like I couldn't trust you. Even in the beginning of our relationship when we were having, you know, the year 4, I never felt like I couldn't trust you because what I thought of, like I was saying earlier, was my idea about trust had nothing to do about vulnerability. It had more to do about infidelity because that's what I was, that's what I knew. Oh, what, he cheated on you? Oh, girl, leave him alone or whatever. I didn't know anything about, oh, he should be more vulnerable or,
Which is
I never thought about that part of it.
that's interesting.
So,
Sorry to cut you off, but
because now you're going to make me forget what I was going to say. Let me write it down. No, go ahead. Say it.
I was gonna say because I came in from a different because there was a point in our relationship where I did not trust you. No, and it all started from there was a conversation that took place, and I'm not gonna say any names, but when that person called and didn't know that they were on speaker or whatever, and they just kept on talking about
She's talking to someone else
yep,
about.
she was
Yeah.
talking to somebody else talking about how and she don't even want to be with him and da 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 da. And after I had been so vulnerable and getting stabbed and all these different things, I'd been through the most vulnerable place in my life, and then to hear somebody else that was considered a trusted source
Yeah.
saying what she was saying, then all of a sudden it was like all the trust went out the window. Like, oh, okay, I'm packing my stuff and I'm out.
But that before or after?
That was before.
That was before.
That was before you said, I'm done. I want to get a divorce.
Okay.
That was before.
Okay.
Because we were over on 64th.
Well, that's where we were when all that stuff happened.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where, yeah. And
I feel like that was after.
No.
Okay.
No, it was not. It was definitely before. And I was like, oh, okay. Then at that point, everything was just like, was questionable. Like, why are you staying late at work? I thought, folks, there was one period where I thought Snooks was messing around with some dude that she worked with. And I was like, okay, all right. I can trace it all back to that one conversation. And the person's even come back and said, no, I was just mad. She was jealous. There's all these different things that she was saying it, but it was enough to make me question everything.
So the trusted person knew about how I was feeling about, wanting the divorce or whatever. So that's why I feel like it was afterwards, but maybe it wasn't. So going back to what I was saying and how I didn't feel like I ever, I didn't have any distrust of you. I trusted you. I never felt that you would go out and cheat or anything like that. I trusted you with that. I trusted you to be the guy, that you said you would be, all of that. But what I didn't understand was the whole, can I trust you with, I guess, my vulnerability? When I said something to you, we've had issues, about my in-laws and stuff like that. I didn't realize that I could not trust you with that because that's where all of everything came crashing down. it surrounded, it surrounded that. So that was a learning thing for me because I was like, what? It's almost like, I mean, I can't say it was like somebody cheated on me, but it was a slap in the face. So that's where my distrust
I
was
feel like it'd be
like
really ambiguous. What was the slap in the face?
the fact that I couldn't trust you, the fact that you weren't there for me,
Okay.
as far as the fact that when I said something, you just was like, oh, well, there was always an excuse. There was always a reason. There was always, and then I started like, what the heck?
You feel like I never had your back.
Oh, yeah, I never. I'm like, all right, bruh, it's good. So now resentment starts setting in. So now I'm not just, so now you lost my trust. And in place of my trust, I feel betrayed because you weren't who you represented yourself to be. As far as like in the, when we say, you come first, I come first, blah, blah, blah. No one comes before us. What the pastor says, let what the Lord has put together, let no man put asunder. And I was like, okay, well, that's shot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and just to give context too, it's like I won't say everyone, but a lot of people that were my age, people that were around me, that I knew that had issues in their relationship, it all came back to trust, but it wasn't vulnerability, it was infidelity. So when I would say something about how this made me feel and how I didn't like what was happening, everyone was tripping, saying that I'm tripping because, like, ooh,
Has he
that
hit
don't
you?
mean.
Does he?
Yeah,
Does
does
he
he
cheat
hit
on you?
you? He don't call you names. He don't cheat on you. So why are you tripping? But I'm like, because this is not what I signed up for. This is not what I said I wanted. This is not what I want. I'm very specific. I was very specific about what kind of relationship I wanted, the kind of man that I wanted to be with, and I held my guns to that. I'm like, nope, I'm not giving up on that. And so when I felt like I was slapped in the face and the trust went away, and then the bitterness, not the bitterness, the betrayal came in, then I became bitter. So it's like lost the trust, full of, the betrayal came, and now I'm bitter and I'm pissed off. So everything that happened, those feelings were solidified by other people. Like, well, that's just how, but I'm like, I refuse to be
In that camp.
I'm not. I promise you I'm not. So let me just let this go and find who I said that I wanted for real, because I'm like, Lord, wait, I prayed about this. I prayed for him. All these different things. But when it was going sideways, when I lost my trust, as far as that goes, that was so key for me because, like I said, it's so important for me. Well, that whole trust thing, but I never felt, like I said, ever felt like, oh, he's probably cheating on me. I just felt like I'm gonna need you to man up or whatever it is. So that's where I had to learn about trusting vulnerability. I won't say learn about it, but that was new for me, if that makes any sense. For all the stuff that I just said.
No, it does. No, it does. It does. And it's, but I think it's actually a great illustration of how trust can mean different things to different people.
Well, yeah, well, so that's a long way to say that. Exactly. So for you, you were doing all the stuff that, you know, you weren't cheating, you were being,
I felt like I was doing
and to you, what your level, what your idea of, what do you mean you can trust me, blah, blah, blah. But for me, I was like, I can't trust you because you don't got my back. You ain't here for me. You don't trust me. I mean, you don't trust me. I can't trust you that you're going to pick your mom over me.
right.
You didn't trust that, I wasn't messing around or whatever.
Well, that's just because somebody else had planted that seed in my head. But, it's one of those things where each and every one of you out there are going to have to ask yourselves, okay, what does trust really mean? What does it boil down to? And quite honestly, what do I do when, I don't know, I feel like there's something infringing on that trust, whatever it may be. But I think it comes back to still always having that conversation. And it's a simple conversation. Like, hey, when we talk about having trust or trusting each other, what does that mean to you?
Exactly. I mean, that's just hands down, because I could say apples, you say oranges. That doesn't, just because they're both fruit, we have to be in sync. And that's where the disconnect is a lot of times with some people. One person says one thing and the other person is like, that doesn't matter to me. I need this. I need you to show me this. I need, so.
True. Well, look, one thing I want to do before we go any further is I do want to, I think trusting each other is one way of showing appreciation for each other. I mean, just a different way. I mean, it's something that's supposed to be very basic in a relationship. But one way to truly show your appreciation is by trusting each other explicitly. And that happened to be the question of the month, which was, how do you let your spouse know you appreciate them? And then I'm actually going to pull up some of the responses from what people said. Nobody left a voicemail. But we had several people write in. One of them was, and it was some variation on this. There were multiple people that said very similar things. So I'm just going to choose this one that sums it all up. And it says, by telling him every day that I love him. But this person threw in, plus I am a great cook.
I know that's right.
But there were so many different variations on that same theme. It's like, how do you show your appreciation? Showing him, doing the little things to show her that I love her. And there were some examples that people put out there. But invariably, there were about 7 or 8 different individuals that responded online that said, by doing the little things and showing them. So the appreciation comes back to showing.
Right. And a lot of times, I know if you was going to say something else, I'll just cut you off again. Sorry. We think that we have to do these big grand gestures, and it's not big grand gestures. It's the small things, little things every day go a long way. Every day a long way. I just made a rhyme.
You got bars, girl.
I do.
And no, but and I bring that up, and I wanted to share that specifically because that common theme that ran through the monthly question, because that act of showing appreciation, trust is something that you can show as well.
Yep.
Trust. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So trust is one of those things where I can tell you that I trust you. I can ask you to trust me. But what do your daily actions, dictate? What do your daily actions invite? Do your daily actions, the things you do on a daily basis, the way you show up every single day, does that invite your spouse or your significant other to trust you? Does that elicit trust from them? A desire to trust you, to be able to put their shoulders down and relax and exhale? Or are you doing these things every single day where it's like, I don't know where they're at. I haven't talked to them for the last 6 hours. I don't know.
They ain't answering no text.
Right. No text, no nothing, whatever. Come home, smell like alcohol, smell like perfume. Back to the infidelity part.
Oh, babe, I forgot to call you.
Or, you're in a conversation with a friend or a family member, and all of a sudden, something that you only told your spouse just came up in conversation. It was like, whoa, how'd you know about da-da-da-da? Jimmy told me this. Or, Carol, she mentioned this to dude told me, are you like a sieve? Or are you like leaking when your spouse or significant other share something with you instead of holding it and being that trustworthy individual? What?
That leaky gut.
Right? Leaky person with no guts because you're not actually keeping it. But it's just one of those things where it's the daily things, the little things every single day. Because you're asking yourself, well, how do I learn how to have more trust? Or how do I trust them more? You can't learn to trust them more. It's actually, there's 2 things actually. The other person has to earn your trust by doing the little things, right? Being there, listening, not giving any reason for doubt. But then you also have to take it upon yourself to say that whatever my past relationship was my past relationship. Whatever my past, whether it was an old, ex-spouse, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, whatever happened was situational and was them. And if for whatever reason something is carrying over and it's starting to look the same, there's only one common denominator between that last relationship and this relationship, and that's you. So that means that there's something inside of you that you're anchored to that is drawing in the same challenge. And you need to be introspective and look at yourself and say, what is it about me that is causing a lack of trust within my relationship? And we all like to believe that, it's not me. She need to fix whatever it is she got going on, or he needs to fix what he's doing. But you do need to ask yourself, if you truly want to be emotionally intelligent in this day and age, ask yourself, what is it about me? What am I doing? What am I saying? What are my actions that's making that person feel like they can do whatever? If it is, a trust thing where you feel like you can't trust them, or is it something that I'm doing? Is it me always questioning? What if the other person is doing everything right, but I got so much baggage from the past that I'm questioning everything you do?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like at that point, that means that you were not healed enough for the relationship. That kind of goes back to what I said earlier. Like, sometimes we want relationships, and sometimes, we crave them. But if you are not ready for them,
You got to do that shadow work. You got to get in there and granted, if you're listening and you're already married, you know what? Boss up and be like, you know what? I'm not all the way right. I'm not all the way healed from the past. You can tell your
so
spouse, I love you. I'm all in, but I do recognize that I'm also doing damage from within our relationship, and I need to do some work.
mhm. And if your partner, I feel like if your partner is down for you and down for the relationship, they'll be like, yeah, let's do it.
Or they might be like, yeah, you need to do some work. No, but honestly, I mean, and that's where we come in, or a counselor, or another coach. Somebody get a third party involved where you can sit there and say, you know what, there's some things I need to work on. And you can even be honest, be like, my spouse is pretty straightforward and good, but I think I'm doing some things. But we've agreed to come together, and or 'cause nobody's perfect, so we're going to work on this together. Or you might say, you know what, I know I need to work on me. But be open with your spouse and be like, you know what, I feel like there's stuff I need to work on. As much as I love you and I want this to work, I feel like sometimes I'm sabotaging.
Mm.
I've got some self-limiting beliefs and some self-sabotaging actions that I do, and I think it's deep rooted in my past. It could be from your youth. It might not even have anything to do with the previous relationship. It just might be some of the trauma that you grew up with and witnessing in relationships.
And that right there is very key. When you talk about things from the past, a lot of times we think that the things from the past are our previous relationships. They are sometimes embedded in our subconscious, and they are triggered by certain actions that happen, So don't always blame the other person. Take some inventory, like Lovey was saying, and be like, okay, why is this making me feel this way?
Right.
Or what am I not seeing? What is it called? 10-foot view or something like
10,000 foot view. Take a step up. Take a look at get a bird's eye view on your relationship. And when you're doing that, you might recognize that, ooh, I'm the one messing this thing up.
So, but if that's not the case, and you're just like, so how do I work on building more trust with my partner, my spouse, or whatever? Start by showing appreciation. Appreciation is so key. Just little things to show that you appreciate your partner, that is going to go a long way. One thing that we do, we do a lot, so we can't ever just pinpoint one thing that we do. But like I said before, Lovey and I, we hug. There are certain things that we do. We kiss. Yesterday, our oldest granddaughter saw us kiss. I forgot she was sitting right there, but it wasn't like a sloppy one. We just kissed, and she's like, "Ew." I'm like, "It's
Oh,
our house."
you didn't
My
hear her. You
Olena.
didn't hear her, did you?
I heard Olena say that.
Yeah, she goes, "Ew," and you said, "What? Because we kissed?" She goes, "No, you smacked his butt."
Oh,
And I thought that was hilarious.
that's hecka funny. But just physical touch. For me, I'm a hand holder. Everywhere we go, I don't care what we're doing. As soon as we get out of the car, we hold hands. If it's hot outside, Lovey holds my hand because I demand it.
It might be,
He's
we might be holding fingers.
yeah.
It might be only our pinkies connected.
But that's important to me, and he does it. We cuddle, whatever, because that's important. Whatever is important, whatever your spouse deems important, try to do that. It's not saying you got to do it all night or whatever, but make an effort to show that you appreciate them. And by making that effort, they're going to be like, okay, this person did this, so I'm going to try harder, in maybe a different area or something like that. Appreciation really does build trust.
It really does. Those little things really do add up. So we're going to let you go.
Are we?
You need to go and do the little things right now. Have a discussion with yourself. Have a discussion with each other about what does trust really mean to you?
Mm-hmm.
Have I earned your trust? Are there areas where you don't trust me? And don't be angry if the spouse comes and says, no, I trust you when it comes to the kids. I trust you when it comes to me and you. I don't necessarily trust you when it comes to the finances.
Mm.
I don't necessarily trust you when it comes to dealing with your family.
Mm.
Because trust will show up in a variety of different ways within your relationship. But the conversation is meant to be had so you can discover how to have 365 trust. Not 180 degree. We want it all the way around your marriage. Mm-hmm. 365 degrees of trust.
Yeah, because what you don't want to come in place of trust is, like I said, betrayal. And once betrayal comes in, then we got bitterness. And then we move on, So we want to make sure that we keep it at trust. And do everything that you can to do it. I mean, I feel like for
I said 365. It's 360 degrees of trust.
I thought you just meant every day. That's why I went on.
And I was like, because I'm sitting there doing the math in my head. I'm like, wait, that's not right.
I thought you just meant like every day. We want to trust every day. So
you want to trust every day, but you also want it to be all the way around.
Well, all the way around could mean all the way calendar, whatever. So, you were good. I just thought you were trying to put
that mess with me. No, that's because 180 is halfway and then 360 is, I was like.
Okay, your C's coming out.
I know. I was like, what? I'm like, that ain't even right. The math don't add up. Why did I say that? I was like, 365 days. I'm sorry.
But I caught it. I was like, yeah, that's right. Every single day. So,
you go, girl.
You go. High five. Love me. Whatever.
She happy when my C comes out.
No, that hardly ever happens. So
anyway, look, hey, until the next time, be blessed.
Bye-bye.